Um, all right, are we ready to start? I'm getting a bit of a feedback from my side, but I hope you guys can hear me well. It's a little bit cold in the house, but yeah. Good evening, and ladies and gentlemen, I hope we are all good on this Tuesday evening. Today we're going to talk about something I think it's quite exciting. We're talking about personal development. I'm going to just switch on to I know there are slides, but I'm gonna try to, if you could allow me to could be able to, part of it is to just jump in, and some of the things may not follow as what is here, but the idea is to be able to cover the following: discuss the purpose and the principles of self-management in relation to real estate function. So most of this, it's things that we will touch at high level. We won't necessarily go too deep, because it's more about engaging. It's more about allowing yourself to be able to understand what is the real estate look like in the full spectrum. How do you fit in, and how do you ultimately get to be successful in this industry? How do you build up your career as a real estate agent, as a principal, or maybe even as a developer, for that matter, as a property manager? How do you develop that? So there are different aspects. I'm gonna try some of the things. I'll vie away from the script, just so that it will allow me to be able to bring in my yeah, I think it's better learning that way than if I'm gonna go follow everything by the script. I'm hoping that it's not that long, but it's something that hopefully can allow us to be able to reflect, and maybe each one of us can be able, some can share their experiences and where do they see themselves. Maybe that's a good place to start. Ladies and gentlemen, before I go into this, let's just get a pick from the people. Where do you see yourself 10 years from now, as an estate agent or as part of this? How does it fit into the rest of your life? So let Rich. Good evening, madam. Sulet, are you there? Ooh. Okay. I see this Cam. Sulet, go ahead.
Hi, sorry, Sulet is actually in the bathroom at the moment.
Oh, okay. Yes, yeah, we can. It's okay, Cam. We can engage you. What's your where do you see yourself 10 years from now in Cam?
Sorry, can you repeat that? We can't hear you. Our lines are really bad.
Is it? Can you hear me now? So what I was saying is, where do you see yourself 10 years from now? And I think I want to maybe extend this, and this is not like one of those interview questions, but
Okay.
It's in essence, I'm trying to engage. Do you see yourself still in real estate?
I could
Would
hear
you
you
have
now.
achieved by 10 years? Yes.
I could hear you. Yes. So in 10 years' time, I do see myself still in real estate. Although I would like to see myself as a multimillionaire, earning
Right.
lots of commission and selling lots of big houses. But first and foremost, to be a qualified full status agent.
Awesome. Awesome. When do you see yourself as a qualified full status agent?
Before next year.
Before next year.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you, Kim. That's multi-millionaire. Yeah, I see. Makes sense. Let's hear current. What about you, Estem Kabel? Yaku?
Good evening, Lefuno. Well, I'm currently the broker owner here in Modimolle and Bella Bella branches. So I would like to carry on doing that till the day I'm about 80 years old or so. So I'm not a real estate agent per se, as in going out there every day and selling. I'm
Right.
more managing the agents that work for me, but I'm really enjoying it. So yes, and I would like to keep on doing that for a long time still to come.
Awesome. How many branches do you have so far?
Myself and you are 50% partners in the two branches, Bella Bella and Modimolle. So we've got those two branches, but I manage both these branches.
Okay.
Because he's got the branch in Lepelale as well, which he owns himself.
Right.
He's more busy there, and then I manage the two branches here.
Incredible. Are you looking at expanding, increasing the branches?
Yes, we are. In the next year or so, we only the branches we bought in 2019. So there's still a couple of things that we are busy with and developing and doing to better it. As soon as we feel that we've settled with that and that the branches are running 100% like we wanted to, then we
Right.
would like to expand it as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Yaku. Mr. Roland.
Hello, how's it?
Good. How are you?
Good, man.
How's life in Durban?
It's okay for now, man.
Is it?
Okay.
It's things coming together now, back to normal?
Well, it's gonna take a bit of time, but it's getting there.
Awesome. 10 years from now, what does it look like?
Well, it would be good if I can retire,
Okay.
and then after investing in some few properties, I retire, and then the young ones can take over.
Okay, that's interesting. How
Yes.
old are the young ones?
There's so many of them, different ages. So,
Okay.
yeah, they'll have to take over from whatever that is there.
And in 10 years' time, that's incredible.
Yes. Yeah, but again, it is not like I'm not actually going to be a real estate agent as such, but in property, investment in property,
Right. Okay. Awesome.
Right.
Thank you, Roland. 10 years' time,
Thank you,
this man would be retired, enjoying his investments in property. Incredible. Venetia?
Oh my God.
What does your 10 years look like?
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
I'm actually at the mall right now. But let me just be brief. Ideally, I'd like to have like a development and maybe one or two by then. So yeah, that's in brief. I'd like to have one or two developments in place in 10 years' time.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so are you more looking at managing your own developments with real estate, with this experience and this learning?
Yes, with the advice I got from Danny, he said with this course I should be able to manage and also yeah, basically manage the whole development, and also should help me with making my own proposal and so forth in
Right.
identifying the right places and so forth.
Awesome. Thank you, Vanisha. To who else? Let's go to Waynand. Wayne. Okay, Martin Eckert. Lidwe. Yes, Mr. Lidwe, Pagat.
Yes,
what does
hello.
it's Moses today. What does your 10 years look like?
Okay, come again.
10 years from now, what do you see?
10 years from now, I think I'll be having my own development, because currently, actually, the reason I'm doing this course, I just want to understand about real estate. And then after, once I get more knowledge on real estate, I also want to, actually, I want to work as a estate agent, maybe on a part-time basis, because I'm working full-time. And then at the same time on the side, and then I can start my development, or else I open my own real estate agents. So that will be 10 years from now.
Like that. So development, real estate agency, that's what he's looking at. And it's a good platform to be able to learn. One of the things I've learned, thank you, Ludwe. One of the things I've learned is that never take for granted moments like this, because they are for great learning. The people you meet at varsity, the people we meet, I mean, some of the people I met in the at varsity, I think that's how we got to know, they knew each other with Roland back in the varsity days. So these are critical moments. People you meet doing MBA are even more critical, or doing your advanced learning like here, because you are not talking people are already working, networked in their own right. So the people you meet here are the people who can also help you build. It's a great network. And I mean, I now know Yaku. We know if there's something one needs to do, whether it's a development or anything, we are in the property space, and property, believe me, it's vast. We're talking from graveyards, we are talking to the actual developments, we're talking buildings, we're talking parks, we're talking parking lots, we're talking, all those are part of property. So it's a vast arena. Real estate is very vast. We are in something quite huge here. So when we have all these people in different parts, in KZN, we have your Roland there. He has a better understanding of the area. This is our network. There is a saying that your network equals your net worth. So who you connect with, and I think I don't want every one of you, I don't want you to take for granted the fact that you are meeting up with all these people who are going to be exposed to all the different properties in all these different areas and avenues. So right now we are looking at a lot of money that is sitting here, those who want to invest in property or even in other things. So it's a huge network that I see here with different branches that you can be able to tap into. So it's critical that we learn from one another. Those who are going to establish estate agencies, Yaku has already started, he's running one. We can learn and get to be able to get you cut down on some of what would cost you the pain and the time to trial and error. But when you go to somebody who has tried it, who's already doing it, you are able to learn, and this is part of personal development, being able to identify people that can add into your journey of career, your journey of personal development, your journey of growth as an individual. I always say that my biggest asset in life, it's people, and I think I'll always cherish that for the rest of my life. If I meet someone who's not willing to invest in people, I get worried to work with such a person, because I believe people, it doesn't matter what I lose. When I had lost everything, it took somebody to say, come, let's work together. It took a human being. I mean, when I met up with Dendi, though we've been friends for long, the exposure to be able to understand property the way I understand now was not there. To me, property was just a house that I buy and live in. I had always desired to own huge buildings, but how it's gonna happen, it didn't come. But the moment we started, at that time when I was searching, we started talking, that's when I realized this guy has the key to what I've been thinking about, dreaming about. I just didn't know how to go about it. So people are critical to your personal development. Nobody grows alone as an island. I think it's when it comes to human beings, we are the results of the inputs of so many other people. We are built by people. And some of the things, it's bad experiences, but as you grow, you start to realize that, hey, you know what, I can't hold people I can't hold certain people against this, because they contributed, negative as it may be, they contributed to me waking up and realizing I want to be like this. So ladies and gentlemen, as we explore the journey of personal development, it's important to reflect on the people that we have met in our journey, the people that are here, the people that have gone ahead, and be able to learn from those people. So I want us to dive into this before I start flowing and I will lose the track of mind. I'm more of a preacher, so I don't want to be preaching too much. Okay, so part of the purpose of self-management, and I think one of the critical things about, I think I mentioned it yesterday, about real estate, is that already when you learn real estate management, you already are an entrepreneur. It's a journey of, though you are going to work with others, but you actually are the business. That's the primary in. Our first engagement is that we are the business, where if I stop working, money stops coming. Of course, ultimately, the ultimate goal is that we create avenues. And one of the discussions that we have in investing in property is to create an avenue where there is a perpetual income. But the challenge of just being an estate agent, and I think it's a challenge that we need to tackle in head on, is that if you don't sell, nothing happens, except if you've got maybe a rental, for instance, that you're managing a rental that has perpetual revenue or annuity every month that is coming in. But when it comes to commission, it's a once-off. Once the property is gone, there is no more money to earn. You have to get another property. So it has to do with self-management. If you don't know how to manage yourself, you have failed to manage your business. That's the first area to start. Of course, as you build up, as you become part of an estate agency, you will have a manager, you will have somebody like Yaku who will be able to assist you to set business goals, to say you need to have done this much by this time. But I think as an individual, you will realize that it's actually more critical for you to do that yourself. That's number one. Number two, if you are full-time, and I think to be effective in this, or you one way or another, it's when you are full-time. If you are full-time, money takes longer to come. If you are going to sell a property, it's not something that it doesn't mean end of the month you're going to get money. So you need to plan out how you can manage your money. For those who have left their job or who are going to leave their job and go into this full time, you need to be able to plan out. One of the challenges or the good thing about having a full-time employment is that you know every month you are going to earn money. Sometimes even when you performed bad, you will still be able to earn end of the month. But when it comes to real estate or being an estate agent, it's not always the case. You need to have lined up the properties so that it builds up to a point where you can be able to get money. That's number two. The other aspect to it is the being able to manage the money. So one is you're going to get the money after a while. So it takes 3 months. Now with COVID, it's taking a little bit longer to get properties registered. So that's a serious challenge. The other issue is being able to manage money when it comes. When it comes, it may be huge amounts. Maybe the money that you've never received in your employment. It's interesting that when you are getting monthly pay, you only get to see at the end when you have an annual amount or pay slip to say this is how much I've earned last year. Maybe I earned 1.5 million. But when it comes every month, it doesn't feel like it. It may never, you find that by the end of the year, you've not really done much through the salary. But now it's coming in as that 1 million comes in once off. Do you know how to manage it when it has come? So self-management is critical in that way. The purpose of learning about self-management is to develop the skills that are necessary to enable you to plan your day-to-day life so that you can set your goals, compile action plan to assist you in achieving those goals, enjoy the success that will come with goal achievement, enjoy the career and personal success, including enhanced productivity and profitability. So these are critical when it comes to self-management. Principles of self-management. Let me put this as. Now that you know the purpose of self-management, it is necessary to consider some of the more important principles underlining self-management. According to Wikipedia, a principle is A plus truth, a rule or a standard. A principle is, in other words, a fixed or a predetermined mode of action. Through an analysis of literature, it's such a diverse discipline as diverse disciplines as psychology, education, business, sports. The following 8 principles of self-management have been identified. These principles essentially comprise a list of 8 identified behaviors that can be attributed to successful self-managed people as contrasted against those people who are not self-managing. Here are the 8 self-management behavior. They are listed below. So self-managed people, they accept self-responsibility. You are a primary cause of your outcome and experiences. Discover self-motivation, finding purpose by discovering meaningful goals and dreams. Master self-management, consistently planning and pursuing your dreams and goals. Employment interdependence, building mutually supportive relationships. That's what I was talking about, to achieve their goals. So it's about that mutual supportive relationships. Gain self-awareness, consciously employing behavior, beliefs and attitudes to keep themselves on track. Adopt lifelong learning, finding valuable lessons and wisdom in nearly every experience, and that's critical. Develop emotional intelligence. This, when it comes to our industry, you have to be great in emotional intelligence, because you find all kinds of people, you meet all kinds of people. Some are accusing you of things you have not done and all that. How you manage your emotions is critical. effectively managing your emotions in support of their goals and dreams. So you need to be able to know when to speak and when to hold your peace. You need to be able to know how to deal with the clients properly, even when they will say all kinds of things about you as an agent. How do you keep yourself in check? We all are human beings. Sometimes we will feel like saying all kinds of things to others, but you hold yourself. Believe in themselves. It takes someone who believes in themselves, seeing themselves as capable, lovable, and unconditionally wealthy as a human being. So if you look at on the right is struggling people, they see themselves as victims. They believe that things happen because of fate or luck. They have difficulty sustaining motivation, so they are depressed, resentful because life is unfair. And I think you see this a lot with what is happening. To be honest, the challenges that we are facing as a nation, they reveal the true character of who we are. And you start to see people cracking, and those whom you thought they actually were doing well, they start to crack because of the challenges. Struggling people seldom identify specific actions needed to accomplish the outcome, or they procrastinate when they do. So they take too long, overthink things, and they are solitary people, often rejecting help from others. They seek the company of people who are equally negative. Those are struggling people. Make important choices unconsciously and get involved in self-sabotaging habits, and this happens a lot. I mean, as we reflect through this, you will see some of the things in your own traits that happen, that there are sometimes that we do things that are self-sabotaging habits. They resist new learnings and imaginative ideas, which are seen either as boring or fearful. So on the other hand, people who are self-managed, they are adventurous. They step out of things, however fearful things are. Like I said, estate agents are entrepreneurs. They have to go out there, and that's why you, even in the estate agency in the real estate field, you'd find that there are more successful estate agents, and there are those who are not really doing so well. They do by the book. Those who go out there are more adventurous. You will see they would sell even much more properties, and they gain more profits, things like that. You live at a mercy of strong emotions such as anger, anxiety, and the need for instant gratification. So those are struggling people. They want to instant gratification. They want something that will be able to satisfy their need immediately, and life does not work like that. They doubt their confidence and personal value and feel inadequate to reach their goals. So that's the contrast: self-managed people versus struggling people. Scheduling your activities. One of the key behaviors highlighted above is the necessity for planning your life and not leaving anything to chance. If you leave anything to chance, believe me, life will happen to you. But the moment we take an active role about our own lives, we plan out things don't always happen the way we want. But I can tell you that when you are more self-aware about your life and what you want out of life, you'll realize that things happen for those. You determine how you want life to treat you. Negative things will happen, but you will always come out because you have a plan, you have a bigger picture. You always see how you want to get there. Nothing happens by chance. At least by now, I'm almost gonna turn 40 soon. But what I've seen, I've seen all the ups and downs. I may not have experienced some of the experiences that older people who are here have. But in my own life, I've had my own challenges. I got to a place where I've almost lost everything. And in that, you realize that actually some of the dreams that you had for so long, there is a way that they come together. Life come in full circle. If I had never had those things or those plans, they would never have happened. But I always find the center because I determine to say, I would want to get here one day. And without even knowing, you meet the right person. All of a sudden, you are back to the track that you thought you had lost for so long. So it's all about being able to plan your own life. The need for planning is important both for your career and your personal life. But what should you be planning? Use the activity block below to identify areas of your life that you should be planning for. This is this is the activity that you can be able to do. Working goals and personal goals. One of the things I've learned as we grow in some of these things is that to some of our work goals get sustained when there is an alignment with our personal goals. I'll give an example. If the desire is, I always see money as a way, a tool to facilitate the life you desire. So if I'm working, I'm earning a salary. That salary is supposed to help me. The moment I see it as it helps me to go on a holiday, for instance, because my dream is to be able to travel, or it finances my hobby, which is maybe to play tennis. Some of those things, that life that way, when it's linked that way, you find much more gratitude than when these things are so misaligned. You will not be able to find satisfaction in life. You will look at them as, I'm doing life and then I'm doing my personal things and I'm doing work. And every time one will seem like they are pulling the opposite direction. So that alignment is critical. Some of the notes someone wrote, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Planning is like the rudder of a ship. Without a rudder, the ship is at the mercy of the sea, the wind and the current. So it will just go everywhere. There are 6 generic steps to planning according to conventional wisdom. Number 1, establish a realistic target. This is your goal. Ask yourself 5 W's and 1 H. What, who, and where. In strategic planning, we used to say 3 ladies sitting in a bench. So if you write the H as a bench and put the W's on top, you'll be able to see that there's 3 ladies that are sitting, or gentlemen that are sitting on a bench. So what, who, where, when, why, and how. Those are questions that one needs to be able to answer to determine what needs to be done and how it is to be done and by whom. Schedule the activities in order that in the order that they should take place, our priority. Tell everyone who's involved in your plan what you are about to do. Implement the plan. Some plan and they fail to implement. It's always important to work out how you are going to be able to implement that plan. Check your regular progress against the plan. So that's your monitoring, taking corrective actions when necessary. So this definitely helps. Setting goals. Goal setting is unfortunately not as straightforward as it sounds. It takes a great deal of thought and energy to decide what you should be aiming for. Goals also need to be challenging yet achievable. Conventional wisdom states that goals should be SMART. Who knows what SMART stands for? SMART, what does it stand for? Ladies and gentlemen, SMART. What does SMART stand for? What do you guys think? No one?
Can I try a couple of them?
Yes?
Simple, manageable, achievable.
Yes.
R&D is no, I can't remember the others.
So we've done simple,
Simple,
manageable,
manageable, achievable,
realistic,
realistic, and the last one
time
is
bound.
time bound. That's it.
Yes.
Sorry. Okay.
So it has to be within a time frame. It has to be something that is realistic. It has to be achievable. It has to be measured. We need to be able to measure. That's the M. I've learned that numbers are easier way to be able to. So if you say my goal is to have this much commission of sold 10 houses by the year 2022. Do you see? It's easy to be able to measure that. Did you get 10 or if you say my goal is to have houses, to have sold houses, it's not easy to measure. You would have sold houses. If you sold one, did you achieve your goal? Maybe. Do you see? Thank you for that. So the idea of that, of goal setting, it's so that our goals should be, it's something that is simple, something that we should be able to measure, something that we can be able to achieve. That achievable would mean you some part of it could be, have you allocated the resources to help you achieve that goal? Or what are the resources that will be required? Whether it's a budget, whether it's tools that will help you to be able to achieve that goal. Is it realistic, or it's something that is out of this world? I mean, that can always be debatable. What is realistic from one person may differ from another. But ultimately, we have seen that how much you imagine can always matter. Some, they imagine getting to the moon. Elon Musk is working on that, getting to Mars, for instance. Elon Musk is working on that. They're building a ship that can be able to carry people to Mars. So he's working on that. To him, it's something that is realistic and it's going to happen in our lifetime. So time bound by when? When should this thing happen? And it's important. So if it's just, there we go, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timeless or time bound. So thank you. You specific or simple, some put it that way. You must specify exactly what you want or where you are going. So it must be exact. It should not just be vague or all over the place. Which one didn't I cover? I think we have covered all this. So that's something that you need to be able to look at. It is a good idea to visualize yourself actually achieving your goals. Some people cut out pictures and stick them on their walls or place them on their computer where they can serve as a constant reminder of their desired goals and objectives. Visualizing helps to be able to, for you to stay on track. When you can see something, your goals, it is you are able to at least be able to review it every now and again. You should write down your goals. A good book says, it talks about writing your vision down so that he who reads it may run with it. So a vision that is written down, or goals that are written down, they help you to be able to remember what you need to do. It's not something that you write and keep somewhere very far and never be able to look at. Because remember, it's something that we can review. If we can see that now the resources that I thought I'm gonna have to achieve this have changed, so we need to review that. It's not a casting stone, it's not written on stone. It's something that we need to be able to work on every time when we look at it and say, am I on the right track? It doesn't help to see your goal, it's on your this side and you are taking a different direction. How are you going to get there? So we need to be able to align all the goals that we have and look at them all the time. Scheduling goals. Once your goals have been clearly defined, it will help if the incremental steps leading to the achievement of the goals are listed. When you have compiled a full list of the necessary activities, you can start to prioritize and schedule the necessary activities to ensure that you achieve your goals. So they normally say when it comes to goal setting, you don't want to set too many goals. Otherwise, it will be difficult to even achieve them. So we work on the basis of 5 or less, because then you can be able to track them and all that. If you have way too many goals, maybe they are not realistic at all. You need to be able to narrow them down to a point where you have about 5 or less, and then you can prioritize them and say, this is how I want to prioritize my goal. They need to be done by then. Schedule them. This is the time frame. How do we get to that goal? Those are the steps that you need to take to be able to get to achieve that goal. Priority table, you'll have your must do, which are urgent, should do, a second order item, could do, when and if time allows. So you will always work on the basis of that, of those priorities. These are the different, this is the activity schedule that you can look at to be able to look your action, prepare budget, who, by when, who allocated the tasks. So this is more of your tasks and activities that needs to be done. Do project plan, schedule stuff, revise, so you can be able to see it talks to who's doing it, by when, who allocated it, is there somebody that needs, has it been reviewed or not, has it been completed or not, how is it going? So it's the same thing, just normal activities leads up or build up to the actual goal. Select any of this is the activity that you can do. Select any one of the goals that you choose in the you chose in the previous activity and draw up an activity list for accomplishment of that goal. Create a priority category list that suits. So we've looked at the table for the priority list. Time management and tools and methods. So we will go through this. Just want to check, okay, where we are. Okay. Okay, time management and tools and methods. So we've got effective management, managing your time. Effectively managing your time can be a crucial factor in determining how close you get to achieving your goal. Successful time management will depend on your ability to organize and plan your time effectively. It is necessary, therefore, to identify the most common time wasters. These are time wasters: procrastination, putting off work for later. I will do it later. It normally leads to stress, overburdening, and ultimately missed deadlines. So if you can do something, do it now. It may take you longer, but the moment you put it off for later, and it helps sometimes to just know, even when you go to sleep, you know that you rest. But something that has not been done, personally, sometimes I have anxieties and all that. I end up having to wake up and get it done, because it doesn't help to just sleep and you know that I should have done it and all that. If it means taking a nap a little bit, but make sure that you wake up and do that's okay. Disorganization. If your desk is so cluttered that you cannot find the article that you are seeking, it eventually you will inevitably be wasting significant time and effort. This is very important because most of the time get wasted while we are trying to get things done. One of the I think it's one of my mentors when I started with to work. She said to me that if you want to get ahead in life, she gave me a scenario of two people given a task to cut down a tree. The first one decides to take time to sharpen their axe. The other one takes in immediately when they say go, he starts cutting. And the one who has taken time to sharpen the axe ends up cutting that tree in a very short time. The other one maybe may put a lot of effort cutting or hitting with a blunt axe, and it may take even longer. So when you are well prepared, it's very easier to execute. It's the same thing with this. When you are disorganized, it doesn't matter how good you are at something, but you waste a lot of time trying to get yourself together. I'm one of those people. I'm a perfectionist. Before I get to do something right, I first have to bring them in order. So where there's disorder, I struggle to function. So it's like that. You get into a cluttered table, a space. Some can work in such type of environment. I can't, but knowing yourself matters in this case. Telephone calls and emails, dealing with each and every call, these are one of the time wasters. You find that it's call after call. You answer every call. I can assure you, as much as it seems bad sometimes not answering calls, and say I'll come back, it's better when you are focused on doing something. Because if you're gonna answer every call every time, you'll find that by the time you are done, you have not done the actual work that you're supposed to do. Same thing even with emails. Your meetings, many meetings are unstructured, and as a result, they are time wasting. There's no agenda in a meeting. You just enter a meeting, or you are just grabbed into a meeting. You always need to make sure your meetings are scheduled. And sometimes it's good to say, if the meeting is not on my schedule, I'm not going to be part of it, and let everybody know about it. As estate agent, the managing, being in the office, your admin work versus going and doing sale, it's something that you will need to master. Going out to view, going out to one of the challenges when I started, the journey of entrepreneurship, it's an interesting one. You are just starting, you realize that every meeting that you are called in, you go. Every potential client, you jump in without first establishing whether that person can afford what you are selling, or there are all those background things. It cuts out on a lot of time. Sometimes it helps to send information before you go to a meeting. It will cut out on the time of explaining so many things. So later on, I came to realize that I've wasted all the time. I meet everybody anywhere. They leave you with a bill to pay and restaurants and all kinds of things. By the time you actually close a client, you have wasted a lot more money and time on things that could not have really brought in real money. So those are things to be able to look at and self-reflect. Time-saving tools and methods. Good time-saving methods and tools that must be practiced is to manage your time effectively. Get started. Gather the information that you need and plan to start. A good tool to employ here would be for you to keep and regularly update a project plan or a diary. Make a to-do list. It matters. Prioritize. Divide your daily task up by creating and using a priority category list. Use your diary, then you can be able to schedule your appointments. This time around, you can use an electric one, Google Calendar and all that. It helps. And put reminders. Do only one task at a time. Yeah, I know people claim to be able to multitask, but sometimes they are wasting time trying to jump around everywhere. So it helps. I don't know, ladies say they multitask. Sulet, maybe you can tell us. You probably are good at that. I don't know. Is it true that people can really multitask, or there are a lot of wastages in that? If you could do something, finish and go to another. I don't know. The jury, it's out there. People can tell us. Establish deadlines for every task. Yes.
Yes, I think we can multitask, but then you need to schedule it properly and make sure that your time frame is long enough before the next one that you've booked, that it doesn't overlap, then it throws out your whole planning for the day. But yeah, I think the reminders that you set is important, because once you've got a client running later than what you think, it helps if you've got reminders helping you.
Right. Are you naturally the organized type, or you just develop the habit to organize yourself?
Sorry, just repeat the question.
Are you naturally the organized type, or you just develop the habits to keep yourself more organized?
Yes, no, I think I can always be better with organizing myself. But yeah, I shoot from the hip mostly. But yeah, I try
Yeah,
to organize it and schedule the appointments so that you are not late as a client, which is important.
sure.
Um,
Which is
yeah, and then
important.
you can always reschedule other stuff which is less important, like doing an inspection a little bit later. But seeing clients on time is most important.
Thank you. I'm sure black people can hear that. Ne? We being on time. There's no African time when it comes to meeting a client. So it's one of those, and I think some of those things are actually a bad one to keep. And say no, there's an African time. So we always, when it comes to, there are people who really get irritated when you are not on time. So if you are not going to make it, maybe arrange another agent to go and do it for you. It helps. That's what teamwork is all about. You can be able, but ultimately we need to make sure that the objective is the client needs to be satisfied, and let's make sure that we are there whenever we have set the time to do that. Thank you, Rich. I like that. Establish deadlines, make time for yourself. Some of the discussions that we've had, I'll move on. Career development. Career, it usually refers to work that a person gets paid to do. A career is traditionally seen as a course of successive situation making up a person's working life. One can, for example, have a sporting career or musical career. In this case, of course, we are talking real estate, which has different aspects. How you treat it matters. Of course, you get paid out of it. It may not be that you are working for somebody, but there is accountability that needs to be there for everyone to be able to do that. Just as it has been emphasized that it's essential that one should not leave the achievement of one's goals to chance, so it is equally important not to leave one's career to chance. It is important that we carefully plan your career from the first day that you start working, so that you know what position you will be in by when and what you hope to be earning as far as your career is concerned. So making career choices and decisions, it defines career management as follows: as making career choices and decisions, managing the organizational career. This deals with career management tasks of individuals within the workplace, such as decision making, life stage transition, dealing with stress, etc. Managing boundaryless careers, that refers to skills needed for workers whose employment it's beyond the boundaries of single organization and work style common among, for example, your artists and designers. Taking control of one's personal development. As employers take less responsibilities, employees need to take control of their own development in order to maintain and enhance their employability. So now the challenge here, and I think maybe it's for probably all of you, is that many take some like real estate as a side thing, or something that as a fallback, for instance. I honestly think if we take it seriously, we can be able to build a very powerful career and a business out of it. I mean, you look at Pam Golding. People just think these people just became big from nowhere. No, they started there. Where you are now, today, Pam Golding, it's a big company. In fact, it's the founder. She's one of the highly successful real estate investors in the world. So it all begins there. This journey that you are in now, if you take it serious, project where you want to be. Hence, I said, look at 10 years. Where would you be 10 years from now? All the different aspects of your life, including your career and your real estate, also as a real estate agent or in real estate, let me just put it that way. You need to be able to look at, how is my growth in this? How am I going to grow from one level to the other? How do I develop myself? Some of you doing this course, it's part of personal development. It's part of you exposing you to something that you didn't know before existed, and it will help you. You may not have come in with the intention to say, I want to be an estate agent, but you want to understand how the real estate works. So in that, you need to be able to know, how far does it go? What is involved? There are a number of different career options and that are open for people within real estate sector. So these are the different options: principal agent, secretary, office manager, non-principal agent, estate agent, conveyancing attorney, financial controller or accountant, administrator, paralegal secretary, receptionist, canvasser, bond originator. Is that a hand? Jane Weber? Yanis?
Yeah, it's honest.
Yes, Yanis. Did you want to say something?
Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
No, sorry, it was by accident. Sorry, I'm gonna mute that.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Yanis. Okay, so these are the different opportunities. As an estate agent may further elect to practice in any of one of the differentiated areas of real estate agency, residential, commercial, or industrial, community schemes, agricultural, business broking, social housing, facilities management, auctioneering, all these things. Rina has a certificate in auction as an auctioneer. So these are the different areas that you can develop yourself into, or you can use different career paths that you can be able to move into according to, of course, your appetite and what you think will be very good for you. Where you start and where you'll end up is typically referred to as the career path. You would usually envision yourself moving up the career path, or as for instance, from being a canvasser to becoming a non-principal agent, estate agent, to running your own enterprise as a principal estate agent and employing non-principal estate agents. So that's something that you can be able to set up for yourself. It could either be horizontal, moving from one job to another in the same hierarchical level, or even downward, in that you may be a principal estate agent, but elect to return to being a non-principal estate agent simply because you prefer to work as a salesperson rather than as an administrator. And that's important, because people sometimes get locked up in frustrating things when they don't know. In business, it's all about the right partnership. You may find that Yaku is very good in administration, but the partner is actually better in sales. So that balance would work out very well. That you'd find that some start their businesses, they're not good administrators, but they have a vision and all that. Find somebody who's a good administrator that will help you run your business well. And then you can keep on dreaming and finding new opportunities while that one is grounding and making sure that things are done properly. So it's all about finding that balance. The ideal career choice for you will depend on a number of personal characteristics that will be discussed in the next section. I will jump. Choosing a career, each person has a different personality. So we normally do some of I think some of the things that I was asking Sulet was to say, does it come naturally or it's something that you have to develop? So that those are how you choose a career. Some it's based on your personality trait. Some people are not good in talking or in sales. And believe me, at times we think we are like that until you venture into that area. I never thought I'm good at sales, to be honest. But today I can safely say I probably can sell anything. I just choose some things that I can't sell certain things. But if I'm determined, I can definitely be able to sell and do it very well. So we grow and develop as people. So at times, at a certain stage in your life, you may never think that your career allows you to do it. But if you are given an opportunity, so that means at times you need to be willing to put yourself out there, learn what you do not know. There are things that comes naturally. There are things that we develop. We learn, we teach ourselves, and then we become great at it. People would normally say you are very good in talking about or teaching about property. You understand the space like you've been in it for long, and it's not like that. I'm trained as an IT guy or ICT specialist, but when I came into property, I determined that I need to learn as much as I can. And today I can confidently say I understand the industry, of course, as much as I can, not like somebody who's been doing it for sometimes even more than people who've been in it for years. Because I took keen interest, I determined to learn what I didn't know. It's all about how you put yourself and what do you think will work for you at the end of the day. We look at things like your personal intellect, your emotional intellect, your personal values, what works aligns with you very well. Some people can never be lawyers because they think lawyers are liars, and not all lawyers are liars. Or politicians, they will never do politics because they think politicians are just crooks. And it's not always the case. They are critical part of, we have the legislations that we have because of some of the best legislations we have. It's all because of politicians. So it's all in how we view these things. Your skills, certain careers such as, for example, medicine, accounting, and computer programming require definite and unique skills from practitioners. One would automatically be precluded from such careers if you did not possess the required skills. So I can't just wake up and say I want to be a doctor. No matter how much I desire, I need to go through the proper learning I work with architects. As much as I may understand the other aspects of buildings and all that, I can never be an architect until I go to the learning, like Roland, and study and be an architect. And it takes years to be able to hone some of these skills that we probably take for granted. Your people oriented or versus task oriented? Are you more people oriented, or you are more the guy who can work in the background and get the work done? What some could feel like a waste of time when they are talking to people, to some it's actually when they are more alive. I'm more alive talking than when I'm behind a spreadsheet. Because I'm a perfectionist, it gets very frustrating. but it's work that needs to get done at the end of the day. It's the balance. But give me a platform to talk, man. I could be very tired, but where there are people and I have to talk, I'll come alive. And it's all in knowing who you are, knowing yourself and all that. So self-reflection, describe what personality, your personal characteristics has to do with your career choices, and think of some example from your own personal context. Why is goal setting important when you plan? These are some of the best careers, your assessment. Trends in real estate. I'm gonna try to move a little bit quicker. Just give me a sec if you don't mind. I just want to send a message. Sorry about that. Working from home can have its own challenges. Okay, are we back? So these are the trends in real estate. The South African Qualification Act of 1995, the National Qualification Framework, which is the NQF, organizing framework of for occupations. So there are different routes that, like in this case, we have your NQF level 4 real estate that you are doing now. There's NQF level 5 that you still need to do. You will get the certificate, but it goes with, it's aligned with your both your practical assessment and also your file that you are going to create. It's important, so that becomes your portfolio of evidence that you need to put that together. From NQF level 4, you can qualify to NQF level 5. Some of you, you can actually ask for exemption. Those who have degrees in the field, you can be able to even request for exemption, where they will give you exemption, but you still need to write the board exam. So instead of going through the course like we are doing now, you go through the board exam. But to prepare you for the board exam, you find that maybe it was good, it would have been better to go through the course so that you are well prepared for the board exam. So it's one of those paths that you can be able to take. After NQF level 5, you qualify as a qualified estate agent. You would either be taking. So once you're qualified, you can now be able to move further to becoming a principal. So once you're a qualified estate agent after NQF level 4, you can move to NQF level 5, which allows you to ultimately become a principal. Sorry, that's the right order. So of course, being the practical part, it's achieved when you are working under an estate agency. You are able to have your logbook, which is very much critical in part of this to be able to submit. You build up the experience, you practically go and sell and be able to, so as an intern estate agent, you can be able to sell. Of course, you will share the commission with your principal, and that's something that those who are not yet registered, they are missing out on, that you have an opportunity to could start selling property, whether it's rental. Some of you who are here who are property investors, you have your own rentals. You can actually start even learning to manage by those rentals yourself instead of somebody else doing it for you. Those are some of the things. There are a number of opportunities. I just wanted, okay, here, Here is the route. Non-principal estate agent were already registered with EAB as okay, sorry. As at the effective date will be granted until the end of this was before to complete the recognition of prior learning. So this was before the time. Right now you need to directly go through NQF level 4, or you request for exemption because you already have a degree that is almost related to something around property. So this is like old information, but real estate for a principal, you need NQF level 5 to be able to qualify. Requirements, of course, we spoke about the logbook and the portfolio of evidence that you need to be able to prepare. That's important. So as you do these activities, you are building up a file. I don't know how far you are, but it's a huge file that you need to be able to put. That will help you on the qualifying for NQF level 4 right now. But it will have to be submitted together with your logbook. It's important that we align those two. There's also, while you are an estate agent, you need to also do continuing professional development. Those who are professionals in different fields, you know that in your own field you need to do this. So even in real estate, it's not something that you do and you forget. Otherwise, you'll find yourself they will deregister you. Same thing, even with your certification, you have to pay the Estate Agency Affairs Board every time, every year. You need to be able to pay and renew your status. So it's important. Just a sec. So in the interest of note, the Estate Agency Affairs Board in fact envisaged the implementation of total career path strategy for estate agents by introducing additional specialization skills. So part of what you will not learn, and I mean residential, commercial, some of these things are not necessarily taught in the NQF level 4 and 5. So I don't know where this is. I don't think it has come up again in terms of looking at NQF level 6. By now they should have done that, but it's not there at the moment from the estate from EAAB. So it's something, I don't know whether down the line they will look at it, but so far I didn't hear of anything that they are looking at doing it now. I don't know if anyone is aware of this. But I think my emphasis was to say you learn more around houses, selling houses now. Knowledge about your residential, your commercial developments, which is like also residential high density developments. It's something that you will learn either by practice, you will learn by people who are already in the field. The course itself does not necessarily cover that. So there are lots of things that are involved, and I think part of it, somebody was asking me about the mentorship. Those are some of the things that we would do to be able to mentor you in the commercial space or real estate residential development, for instance, because it has so many other aspects that when you are selling a house, they are not involved. I think your town planning schemes, things like that, they are part of what you can be able to learn in this field. When you are selling commercial, it's also another different space altogether. How do you do valuations, all those kind of things? It's things that we can be able to mentor outside, and you can be able to learn from those who are already in the field as property brokers in that area. Okay, so the roles and various institutions that are involved, of course, your SAQA for qualification, your NQF framework as your NQF level, your national audit standards for competence. So once, and then the board itself, that you, when you write the board exam, you do it with the estate agency board, which is not, they will be able to, you qualify after that. So as much as your NQF, it's with what do you call, with the CETAs, like this course, it's qualified by the CETAs. There's an agency now that has, I just forgot the name, that gives the qualification. So if, yeah, I think it's this, the ETQA. It gives the qualification. So once you've got that, it does not necessarily mean that it aligns with you having passed the board exam. You still need to do the board exam. I don't know if it makes sense to everyone. Any questions so far on this before we move forward? Any questions, ladies and gentlemen?
Hi, Moses.
Yes.
Yes, I'm raising my hand, but unfortunately you can't see it.
Yes, go ahead. Sorry, yeah. Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, in the first place, you indicated that Rena Kruger has certificate auctioneering. So I just wanted to check for
try
auctioneering.
move around. It's a bit of a I'm struggling to hear you very well. Can you hear me? Hello?
Can you hear me now, Moses? Moses,
Yes,
can you hear me?
that's better.
Yes. Oh, okay. What I was actually trying to say is that remember in the first place you indicated that Rena Kruger has a certificate in auctioneering. Do we have board examinations for auctioneering?
To be honest, I'm not sure, but I think they do have the exam that they do for auctioneering. So it's not anybody who can be an auctioneer. I think now they are even more strict. Same thing with a valuer, being a valuer, property valuer. It's not everybody who can just be a property valuer. They go through some exam that they have to do so that you can be qualified as a property valuer. But I will note that, and I think Rina can assist us with what qualification do you need to be able to do that.
Yes. Please confirm with her, and also ask her that if by possessing the certificate in auctioneering, does it necessarily mean you also qualify for licensing, or after getting that certificate you have to write all the examinations in order to get licensing? Because there are two things: there's certification and there's also licensing as well.
Yes. Yeah, you're right. So that's I think let me just note that. I'll verify that information so that I give you something that is proper. I will note that.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Any other question? In the absence of any, I think we are actually done, Mr. Stolle. I don't know if he's here. He can be able to come in and then we can conclude. Current, is that a new hand or?
No, I've lowered it.
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, in the absence of any, I think the emphasis on the career development, like I said, on personal development, it's for you to be able to know where you are going, set goals about what you want to achieve, manage yourself, learn how to use the right tools to manage your work and manage your own personal life, especially because the barrier, I think now, with the issue of working from home, it's probably maybe has revealed a lot more that if you're not disciplined, you'd find yourself all over the place. And sometimes when you are supposed to, when you are supposed to be doing, it's easy to take it for granted that I'll take that meeting while I'm driving. And then where you are, there's no network, for instance. You failed in administering that, but it's the things we easily take for granted, and we find ourselves. So self-management is very critical. Learning how to manage your career, it means you are able to put a career path and say, this is where I want to get to by this time. I want to achieve this by this time. I think it was, I'm not sure if it was Valencia who said she needs to be able to have done this by this particular time. So it's important to be able to set those goals yourself and share with those who are responsible to assist you do it. Part of it is the people you are working with, your boss, your principal, your other colleagues, so that your family, so that you can be able to have support. And other people also help us to be accountable on what we said we want to achieve. So ladies and gentlemen, I wish you the best in this career. It's vast, as you can see. There are lots and lots of opportunities, whether you want to do it, be a developer and have an estate agent as a way to manage your own properties. That's also the best way to do it, because that money was going to go out to somebody else, but you are deciding to keep it in-house because you chose to develop yourself and learn something that you wouldn't. One of the biggest myths, I mean, we learned the hard way when we had to start managing the property. We could put together the property and all those things, get funding and all that, but when it comes to getting tenants and managing tenants, it was a nightmare, believe me. So it's not a child's play. It's something you learn, and the more you expose yourself in this, the better. So for property developers, this is your best chance. Learn, expose yourself. To those who are already doing it, you will find yourself doing much better when it comes to your own property later on, when you own one. But I think it's a great honor to know every one of you. I'm looking forward to being in this journey with you, and as either partners, as either a part of our network, as either some customers, we are colleagues that are going to work together for the longest time. And I look forward to that. Mr. Stolle, I was trying to buy time. I hope you are ready.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening, colleagues. Good evening.
Evening, Kabela.
How are you?
We're cool, Kabela.
Awesome. All right. I want us to quickly go through the learner management system. Ne? I'm going to show the lecture version so that we make sure that what I see on the lecture side is exactly what you see on the student side. Ne? So that at least we know that we are 100% aligned. Shout as soon as you see my screen.
Yes, we can see your screen.
All right. So
we can see it.
Awesome. Then let's just go back. Then I'm just going to show the 3 real estate modules. Then we'll go through each the learning materials. All right. Let's start with Learner Unit 1, which is real estate platform. Ne? So under the real estate platform, you should have the following
following documents on your student version of the portal. Ne? And let me just count in total: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So from today, you should see 2 pages. Yesterday it was only 1 page because the extensive learner guide for Unit 1 was not uploaded for Learning Unit 1, which is real estate platform. So it's I think 156 page document, if I'm not mistaken, that has the details of the slideshows. So the most important document on this module is the learner guide plus the